What is UFC White House really? Is this we load this thing up like UFC 300, but it just happens to take place on the freaking south lawn of the White House? Or is this USA UFC, where it's the United States versus the world?
I think it is both. And that's a little mealy-mouthed of me, I understand. But I do believe it is both, because it's going to be the biggest spectacle the promotion has done, right? Like it but definitionally has to be, because of the stakes, the terms of engagement being on the White House lawn. And so as a result of that, and to be quite frank, because Donald Trump is president and Donald Trump is running this, Donald Trump is not a person who wants some dog shit fight card to be associated with his brand, his name. And that is, at a very basic level, what is happening here. You know, there are other levels, but this is a President Donald Trump presents UFC White House. He is going to want the biggest stars, and the biggest star in the world, and I'm sure we'll talk about it, is Conor McGregor. And I think there's a decent chance Conor McGregor fights here, and you can't really do an America versus the world when it's Conor McGregor, Michael Chandler, because Conor is the A side. Donald Trump, Dana White, etc., maybe it won't be rooting. They will want Conor to beat Michael Chandler if that's what's happening.
Will it also be all of the stuff we just said? Yes. But could it really be an idea that we floated around for like decades? A Super Bowl, an annual Super Bowl. I'm not saying let's annually put a card on the White House lawn. I feel like this is ultimately a one-of-one that not only ties into the Trump administration, it ties in to the U.S.'s 250th birthday. But I mean that idea of having a literal super card once per year. If this is ultimately that, only it's not the Sphere, it's not 300, it's the most loaded card we've ever seen, I think that's super special. I think that's super unique. I think it's at a right time where this Paramount deal does offer UFC the opportunity to go even more mainstream than they already have before. I really feel like this could be something super special in that vein, and I think at least in the main event, you kind of have to play up the rematch of 1776. And I'm starting to wonder whether this is genius, reverse psychology being done by the UFC, Dana White, and now by extension, Daniel Cormier, to get Jon Jones back in line and doing what he should have done, a year or 2 years ago, which is consummate the unification of that heavyweight title, face the next big thing in Tom Aspinall. To me, there is no other main event they can make that matters the most. The best fighter of all time facing the new heavyweight of the new era in a fight that isn't 5.5 years Mayweather-Pacquiao delayed, but certainly was delayed and should have already happened. That's the fight I think you almost have to have on the White House lawn if you're doing the America's birthday trick.